So the long-awaited, much-anticipated new Dragon Ball Sparking Zero game finally dropped, and honestly, it brought me right back to my glory days playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi as a little troublemaking, good-for-nothing youth, skiving off of school, throwing pointless hours at that campaign, just becoming absolutely insane at all those Goku and Vegeta combos. Now at this point in time, I've not currently completed the entire story mode of the game, but because I've pretty much been hooked on the game for the last several hours, I thought why not just make a video discussing whether or not this is actually worth picking up for many of you. Now right off the bat, it's no secret that anime games in general are usually worthless pieces of shit that are never worth your money. But this Dragon Ball game has for a lot of people the nostalgia tax, which definitely does need to be stated. Because right from the beginning, it saps you right back to being a child playing the Budokai Tenkaichi games. And I'm not gonna lie, that alone makes it more worthwhile than the Jump Force trash or the Kimetsu no Yaiba Chronicles game that dropped a couple of years ago. Like, both of them were absolute fucking dirt, and not worth the money they were asking for them. But Dragon Ball, on the other hand, will always be leagues above anything else in the anime world. That's just a simple fact, and we all know this. But how does the gameplay itself actually feel? Well, for the most part, it's got its positives and a hell of a lot of negatives, with the positives being that the game itself feels fairly smooth. But again, I am playing on a quite high-end 2K PC, so how it works on lesser models or consoles, I have absolutely no fucking clue. But from what I have seen and heard from other people online, it does seem to be running quite smooth on all those other consoles. But now for the combat itself, well, that feels incredible, with maybe the exception of the difficulty. Like, Sparking Zero's got about 2 difficulties, easy and even easier. None of the difficulties in this game, nor any of the fights, feel like it's anything more than a 7+ game. It's kind of mind-numbingly easy and honestly makes it kind of boring at times, but if you can get past that and you just enjoy playing the game and playing the combos, it's quite an easy, enjoyable game. But now for me, on the other hand, none of the fighters I have faced up until now have never even tried to dive challenge me, outside of maybe Vegeta. Like, I can normally just stand there charging up my attack and they will do fuck all to stop me. And then once I am actually fully charged and unleashing my barrage of punches and kicks, it just seems like the AI itself can't really do anything to get out of it. Which again just comes across kind of boring and a bit mind-numbing at times. But now don't get me wrong, outside of these minor issues, the combat is still incredible. And I can definitely see that the custom modes will make these issues kind of go away. Like, in the custom modes, I'm almost certain that you can increase the difficulty of every character that you face and make the fights that much harder and more challenging. But again, I have yet to play any of the custom modes, so I can't really speak too much on them. Now, as for the ranked mode, I can definitely see, given the combat speed of this game and the combos that can be achieved, I can definitely see that the ranked is going to just become this clusterfuck of sweats. Like, I just know for a fact that if I played that shit right this minute, my controller, my chair, my monitor, everything I fucking own is getting fucked off a wall. And that's in no way cap. I know for a fact I am breaking my desk in half playing ranked on this game. It's just so fast and so many combos, at times I can't even fucking see the characters in front of me. It's insane how fast this game feels. But now, as for the voice acting and sound effects and the art in general, well, that's about as amazing as we've come to expect with anything Dragon Ball at this point. With my only possible complaint being that there just isn't actually enough animated cutscenes. Now, I know full well that the budget and time were a big deciding factor for this game's creation in the first place, but going from a big fight versus fucking Goku Black to a PowerPoint presentation just pisses me off. Like, I cannot be the only one that cannot be fucked reading Dragon Ball all over again. Like, give me some of that amazing animation that we've seen in Dragon Ball Super. Like, just use some of the Dragon Ball Super cutscenes, for God's sakes. Like, honestly, it would be more enjoyable than watching these fucking PNGs floating around on my screen. But now, as I mentioned a bit earlier, the Tenkaichi games are a big factor for why you will even play Sparking Zero. Like, for many, it's going to be the nostalgia that even drives you to this game. But now, as far as Sparking Zero is concerned, it's just simply a better version of Tenkaichi. For you see, Sparking Zero fixes a lot of clunky fighting animations that those Tenkaichi games had, and just adds a whole new selection of characters from the whole Dragon Ball Super universe, as well as many other characters that weren't even in the original games. And like I briefly mentioned before, the movement speed of Sparking Zero compared to the Tenkaichi games is absolutely worldly different. It's far more smooth and every single animation feels absolutely amazing. And like I said, there are times in the game when the movement speed is that smooth and that fast that your eyes can't even follow, which is just insane and honestly makes a fighting game about Dragon Ball feel that much more real and enjoyable. But now, something else that many should know before picking up Sparking Zero is that there is no custom character creation in this game, Which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know that before buying the game, and when I finally realized it, I was quite upset about it. Like, that was one of the things I enjoyed most about any Dragon Ball game, was creating my own Dragon Ball character. And I'm not gonna lie, not having it in Sparking Zero and instead having this changing clothes option just kinda sucks and feels almost like a gotcha money grab kind of game attempt, which again I am not a fan of. Now, another aspect of the game that differs a bit from other anime games that I have played is the attempt at choice selection, where you are presented with usually a choice of two options that you quote unquote change the future of the game by deciding between. These choices, from what I have seen, don't normally amount to much more than Goku just having to either fight a fight on his own or fighting a fight with somebody else. They normally, again from what I have seen, just usually lead back around to the same destination in the game. No matter which one of the choices you pick, you just end up at the same destination. But again, like I said, I have yet to complete the actual entire game. So maybe I am missing an important choice that does actually matter overall, but honestly I highly doubt that I am. But again, if I am, then feel free to point it out in the comments down below. But now, with all of that said, the big question that finally remains is the game even worth getting? Well, as someone who's bought the deluxe edition of the game, pretty much only for the early access side of things, I can clearly say without a shadow of a doubt that it is definitely worth getting. At least the standard edition is worth getting. As long as you are somebody who does like Dragon Ball or even just fast-paced fighting games. Because this is one of the smoothest, fast-paced anime fighting games that I have ever actually played in my entire life. But now, like I said, the deluxe edition on the other hand is totally not worth getting. That price tag is just insanely high and not worth your money unless you are getting it for the early access. Trust me on that. So yeah, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, despite its many flaws, is still one of the most mindlessly fun games that I have played in a hot minute. Like, its no thinking, spam heavy combat system just allows you to turn your brain off and just enjoy what you are playing for once. Which, I'm not gonna lie, is incredibly rare with games today. Normally I have to think and try hard at every moment just to have a bit of fun. But with Sparking Zero, that's not really the case. Which, like I said, at times can seem kinda boring, but honestly is more worth it than me just getting mad at a fucking video game. So yeah, I'd consider it definitely worth getting if you're an anime fan. But now, with all that said and all of that shit out of the way, I'm going back to beating the shit out of Goku Black. So have a nice day everyone, stay safe, and peace.
In a little different way. Take my husband, for instance. He's across the universe training with that Whis guy, and I haven't seen him in 6 whole months.
Vegeta's doing what?